The day the sky turned red was the day we knew we were no longer alone. A leviathan of impossible geometry hung over our city, a silent, menacing god casting a crimson shadow. We called it the no-fly red zone. It wasn't just a name, it was a death sentence. The air within that blood-red perimeter shimmered with an energy we couldn't comprehend, a constant lethal hum that became the soundtrack to our new reality. For weeks, it just hovered there, a constant reminder of our own fragility, of how everything we had built could be dwarfed by something from beyond the stars. The initial shock gave way to a simmering defiance. We weren't going to just lie down and let our world be taken. The bravest among us, remnants of our military and brilliant civilian engineers, formed the core of the resistance. Their plan was audacious: to send a swarm of high-speed recon drones into the red zone to probe for a weakness, any weakness at all. We watched from rooftops and shattered windows, our hearts pounding in our chests. The drones, the pinnacle of our technology, launched in perfect formation, sleek silver darts against the ominous red glow. They crossed the invisible line, and for a breathtaking half-second, it seemed to work. Then, the air itself lit up. Pulses of pure red energy, faster than thought, lashed out from the mothership. Each drone was not just shot down. It was erased, vaporized into a puff of superheated gas. No debris, no wreckage, just nothing. The message was clear and brutal. Our best was no match for their casual defense. The hope that had flickered in our hearts was extinguished in an instant, replaced by a cold, heavy dread. This is where I came in. While the adults were busy with their grand failing strategies, I was focused on something smaller, something they had overlooked. I grew up in the shadow of the old aerospace district, a place now abandoned, a graveyard of our former ambitions to touch the stars. I knew its secrets, its hidden tunnels, its forgotten access points. My obsession became the smaller alien crafts, the scouts and fighters that occasionally darted from the mothership. I watched them, studied their flight patterns, and noticed something crucial. A small squadron would always return to a specific, secluded industrial sector just before dawn, disappearing into what looked like a derelict warehouse. They weren't just landing, they were docking. They had a hidden hangar right under our noses. While the resistance was trying to punch through the front door, I decided I was going to sneak in through the back. For days, I mapped the old sewer systems and utility conduits, my only light, the faint red glow that filtered down through grates. It was terrifying, claustrophobic work, but the image of those vaporized drones fueled me. I had to do something different. The night I made my move, the air was thick with tension. I found the entry point, a rusted-out maintenance hatch that led into the hangar's ventilation system. The air inside was strange, smelling of ozone and something organic I couldn't place. Peering through the grate, I saw it. The hangar was an alien cathedral of metal and light, and there, parked in neat rows, were the alien ships. They weren't machines, not entirely. Their surfaces seemed to breathe, with faint bioluminescent patterns pulsing along their sleek dark fuselages. They were beautiful and terrifying. My target was a bomber, slightly larger than the fighters, with what looked like heavy ordnance tucked beneath its wings. My hands were shaking, but my mind was clear. I had spent weeks on a salvage simulator, guessing at the controls based on my observations. It was a crazy, suicidal long shot. Slipping out of the vent, I sprinted across the deck, the alien floor strangely soft under my boots. The bomber's cockpit was open, a silent invitation. I slid into the seat, which molded itself around me as if it were alive. Taking a deep breath, I initiated the power sequence I had memorized. The ship hummed to life, its internal lights glowing a soft blue. The hangar doors began to cycle open for the dawn patrol. This was it. I pushed the throttle forward, and the alien bomber surged ahead, silent and impossibly fast. I was airborne.
Ow.
Bursting out of the hangar and into the red-tinged dawn was a shock to the system. The city I knew was now a canyon of alien architecture, with strange spires and structures growing from our own buildings. Immediately, I was not alone. Alien interceptors, shaped like wicked shards of obsidian, swarmed towards me. They were faster, more agile, but they didn't expect one of their own to be the enemy. I pushed the bomber to its limits, diving into the urban canyons, using the skyscrapers of our old world as cover. The G-forces were crushing, but adrenaline was a powerful anesthetic. The interceptors fired crimson bolts of energy that seared past my cockpit, melting steel and glass on the buildings around me. I dodged and weaved a desperate dance through the concrete and steel jungle. My target was the heart of the beast, the central core of the mothership, a pulsating sphere of energy I could see even from the ground. I flew a spiraling path upwards, using the mothership's own massive superstructure as a shield against the fighters. The closer I got, the more intense the energy felt, the air buzzing like a billion angry wasps. The bomber system shrieked warnings in an alien language I couldn't read, but I knew what they meant. I was at the point of no return. Lining up the shot, I unleashed the bomber's full payload. The bioluminescent torpedoes streaked towards the core, and I banked hard, pushing the engines to their breaking point to escape the blast. The explosion wasn't a sound. It was a physical blow that shook the entire city. A wave of pure white light erupted from the mothership's core, momentarily overwhelming the crimson sky. The colossal vessel shuddered, a dying titan. Cracks of blinding light spiderwebbed across its surface before it began to fall, breaking apart in enormous fiery chunks. I watched from the cockpit of my stolen bomber as the symbol of our oppression came crashing down into the financial district. The impact sending a plume of smoke and debris miles into the air. For a moment, there was a stunned, beautiful silence. We had done it. We had won. People started to emerge from their shelters, their faces turned to the sky, tears of relief streaming down their cheeks. The red glow was gone, replaced by the familiar gray of our city's sky, choked with smoke. A cheer went up, a collective roar of victory that echoed through the streets. But the celebration was short-lived. As the dust began to settle, a new light appeared on the horizon. It started as a thin line, the same blood red as before. But this time, it wasn't just in the sky above the city. It was spreading rapidly from the crash site outwards. The no-fly red zone wasn't tied to the ship. Ship was just a seed. As we watched in horror, the red line swept across the landscape, consuming everything, the suburbs, the countryside, the entire horizon turning crimson. We hadn't destroyed the enemy. We had just made it angry. We had shattered its cage, and now its influence was spreading to cover the whole world. Our victory had lasted only a few minutes, and what came next would be far, far worse. Thanks for watching this story unfold. If you enjoy sci-fi and tales of desperate struggles, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what happens next in our universe. Let me know in the comments what you think the spreading red zone will do to the planet. See you next time.